What is going on, everybody, and welcome into this well, delayed. I'm just gonna call it what it is. It's fucking delayed. It's a delayed fucking show. We were supposed to start at 10:30, and we are starting at 11:30, 11:15 ish. So, but my apologies for that. But it wouldn't be the pre-patch podcast if we didn't have technical difficulties. And
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know
Exactly.
what it's going to take for the world to get into a situation where we can have ultra wide monitor support on everything and OBS and whatever else. But I was.
It's gonna take a world where Discord fixes their shit. That's the first.
It is. Like I understand that we have like in this country right now universal healthcare problem. There's elections going on. We're banning fucking TikTok. We're going after Chinese like governments and shit like that. But can we just all stop for 1 second and just get ultra wide support across the board on everything? That is the most important thing, guys. That is the most important thing because it is fucking annoying. I'm gonna just call it right there. It is fucking annoying. 2025. I can get a picture from Mars of a rock's butthole, but I cannot get a fucking support and OBS and other things for ultra wide monitors. Ridiculous. Anyway, welcome in.
A rock and not the rock. I don't know where that came from, but
yeah. I'm curious when the Rock's OnlyFans is going to start up and how much it'll make in its first week.
Jesus.
Yeah.
If it's showing whole, it's got to make money, right?
Yeah. Well, welcome in again. I hope everybody, I mean, this is the first show of the new year. It is, it's big. Unfortunately, we are down Enigma. We had to take a personal day, and some time. So he's out, but he will be back on the next show. But we've got the 4-man crew is going to be holding it down. Myself, Tony, we've got Bill, and we've got Scruffy. How is everybody doing? And how was your holidays?
It was good. Had a really good time. Visited some family that I haven't seen in a while, and been vibing.
Nice.
It was chaotic. Good. It was good.
Yeah. You guys get to
in the new holidays in the new house, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you guys get dumped on at least the two? Because I know me and Tony, we're the Southern boys here. We don't get snow. If we get snow, it's a problem. I mean, I know Atlanta got a little bit of snow, and like it went in. It was like The Walking Dead, and it was like a slight dusting. But did you guys up in Ohio get dumped on?
I got a foot, so
Yeah, we got.
I have a foot too. It's right here.
Yeah. But we froze over up here just because of the lake effect. So everything's
yeah.
present.
I got a full foot. They closed my
what's
workplace
the lake
down.
effect? So because you're so close to the lake, everything's just frozen.
Yeah, the cold fronts come in from the lake and just freeze everything over. Yeah, it's pretty nasty. Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we don't have that problem down here. Like legit in the South, I'm gonna tell you right now, if it gets below like 40 degrees, it's national emergency. Like they're calling out they're calling National Guard. Like people are they're rummaging and just like pilfering all the milk and bread, eggs.
It's
right?
within reason.
Like
it's within reason. Everybody loses their minds.
Yeah,
everybody loses their minds.
It's
nobody
insane.
can drive anymore. Everybody's going 75 on a 45. Like. Ending up in ditches. I was just like, okay, well, I guess that's what we're doing.
It is absolutely. I'm telling you right now, I could make a business where I'm literally just buying eggs and reselling them whenever. Like, I'm not joking. My neighbor, who has never been north of like I'm pretty sure probably like Macedonia. Like that's as far north as he's ever gone. And if you know where I'm talking about, it's like 45 minutes. He saw frost on the ground and literally was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. He had his generator right here. I'm like, motherfucker, it is just frost, bro. Like you're okay. It's crazy.
Wow.
Dude. So
Wow.
I know that if we ever have an apocalypse or like a nuclear winter, half the motherfuckers down here are gone. Like they're gone. Just count them
The
out.
South is not
Come
prepared.
on,
Sad thing is,
Ohio.
you're not
built different.
Yeah, you're not even exaggerating. I know several people in the South that like they swear if there's like frost or it gets like below freezing that their car's just gonna the road's just gonna turn into an ice rink.
Yeah, it's insane. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. Like it did ice down here, and they came and literally people were outside like looking at it like they had like an alien had come down from space and fucking was like, we're here, and they're out there going, oh, I'm like, it's a fucking icicle. Like, what are you talking about? Like, anyway, and I don't know, whatever. But well, I digress. Well, again, super happy to be here. Holidays are done, New Year's are done, and we are kicking off 2025 with a bang. We've got a lot of new articles to talk about, news to talk about, new games that have dropped over the holidays that we're going to be going into. But before we do all that, I definitely want to make sure to mention that we are going to a new schedule. It's not going to be 11:15 p.m. or 11:14 p.m.
So we're reverting.
Yeah, we're actually going back. So you know, we were doing a weekly show. And it became, you know, we love it and all that kind of stuff. But what came to pass was it was very difficult to get gaming news. You know, we didn't have. I need the industry to pick it up a little bit. If they're going to have us do a weekly show, they need to like at least drop news a lot more frequently. But no, we're going to be going back to a bi-weekly show. Also allows for Bill to be on the show, better suited for scheduling and stuff like that. And then what that also allows us to do, which I'm really excited about, and the whole team is, we're going to start creating a lot more content on the podcast YouTube channel, as well as the Twitch channel. That's a little bit more, a little bit different than necessarily just the podcast. So, you know, we're gonna. I've got some ideas cooking around. I'm telling you, he's not here, so he can't debate me. He's probably in chat. Enigma's gonna play Fortnite. Like, it's gonna happen. I don't know what we have to do to do it, but Enigma's gonna play Fortnite. So
that's the goal.
that is going to be content that will show up on the.
Also, speaking on that too, like if anybody has any like user recommendations on like stuff that you would like to see us react to, you know, definitely drop your feed back in our Discord, or I believe we have an email too. Send. So you know, we'd love to see, you know, just hear you guys' thoughts on stuff you'd like us to, you know, go over, react to, whatever it might be.
Yeah, absolutely. You can email us, you can Discord us, you can DM us, you can hit us up pretty much everywhere, and get in touch with us. But yeah, we've got some good, cool ideas cooking around that we're going to do. Maybe we'll do an off podcast where we're going to talk about movies, you know, stuff like that. Just I can rant for one podcast about A24 and my hatred for those. Yeah, so it's going to be
get out of the system. It'll cleanse them for the rest of the year.
It's going to be great. So, but anyway, you all are not here for that. You all are here to talk about video games, and the news and all of that. And so if you are new to the channel, well, we always kick off by talking about games that we're playing and you know, new things that are going on. So we're going to start with Bill. You've been playing not a new game, but it is an update to an older game, Zenless Zone Zero, correct?
Yep, it is the gacha game that I cannot stop playing. For some reason, this one just clicks with me. And I am very excited to talk about the new patch that came out. It's basically a soft relaunch of Zenless Zone Zero, trying to kind of bring in either people that didn't mesh well with it whenever it first came out for one reason or another, or bring in like a new player base altogether. The game is still doing extremely well. It's a Hoyoverse game, obviously, so it's going to do well. They're going to put a lot of time, money, and effort into it. And they are also taking a lot of community feedback with this game in particular, more so than I think they have with Genshin and Honkai. One of those big community feedbacks being the analog mode or TV mode that the game launched with. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically like a grid system style of like progressing through levels. So there will be squares, and squares will have different icons on them in the shape of TVs, and those icons, whenever you go over top of them, will either bring you into a battle or give you like a random event or stuff like that.
Not people found this anime nerd. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
What is she? What is that tail?
She is a rat. Humanoid.
God,
I was not ready for that.
She's a rat, bro. That's what she is. She's a fucking rat.
Horrible. I was so attracted to it. Oh my god.
She's just got the rat tail and the rat like little rat ears, but yeah.
Tony's found a newfound
here's a little bit of lore for Zenless Zone Zero. They had to attribute some effort to the furry community. So there is a race in this game called the Thyrines, and they are humanoid animals. And this kind of branches from light Thyrines, which have like just animal tails and ears. So there's this character. There's also a cat male that has the cat ears and a cat tail. And then there's full Thyrines, which are like your full furries. So
Never go full
Okay. Never
siren.
go full
Hey,
furry, yeah.
So I just want to declare 2025 is the year that Tony is the furry and not Sin. I'm out.
Oh,
all right,
I
I'm
mean,
done.
that's not the one playing the game, so.
I was oddly attracted to the character scheme.
Okay,
Just
so it's not mine.
throwing
Yeah,
it out
again,
there.
welcome. Hey, listen, I've been getting berated for a year about this bullshit. Welcome. I'm out. I'm done. I'm out. It's
No,
Tony's
you're still a
turn.
part of it. You're still
It's
a part
Tony's
of it.
turn.
Tony, they
Oh,
put a lot
man.
of effort into the assets of this game, so
I
it's
see
it's
that. I
it's
can appreciate
it's
it.
well worth getting into. But back to patch 1.4. So they removed the TV mode, or not remove's a poor term. The option to still play the analog mode is still there if you want to, but they have went back all the way to the very first, like the intro of the game, like the first story beats, and made it so that, as you're seeing on the screen, that was one of the first chapters of the game. Originally, that was going through TV screens until you hit an encounter, and then it would pull you into the encounter from there. Now you actually have an overworld map where you're running around with the characters, you're interacting with maps, like level stuff that way, and it's a lot more seamless. I think there's a lot less disjointment, and it's a lot more exciting because you get to see the character models that you're spending all these spins on and getting more time with it. This is a very action oriented gacha, so it makes sense to kind of lean into that, whereas other gachas have a bit more of a chill aspect to them. So that was the first big thing that they did. Secondarily, they added their first Void Hunter character, which I don't know. I know that Genshin Impact has characters like this. I don't know if Honkai does, but these are like your god tier characters. Like in the lore, these are the most powerful characters. They're like the icons, or is that what they're called in Genshin? Like the godlike characters.
So every so often they always put a character in the game that kind of power creeps most other characters, or for that matter, just are better and they want people to spin into and stuff like
Archons.
that.
Yeah, that's what they're called.
Okay.
So Void Hunters are this game's version of Archons, and this comes in the form of Miyabi, who we will see later in my gameplay. And if you wanted to skip to about the halfway point, it would show that off. But she is, as you described, Tony, she is a DPS that is just a cut above everybody else. She's the character on screen now that's doing all the Virgil like sword swipes and stuff like that. So with that Void Hunter character coming in, they have now kind of clean slated all of the base factions that they have in the game. So they have a full story set going forward. The story doesn't feel disjointed. You're not waiting for more story to come out, because at the very beginning of the game's launch, there wasn't a whole lot of content to it. Now they have a full story arc that they have gotten through. So
That's nice.
and lastly, they've kind of reworked how some of the end game content works. Again, it's involving that analog mode, but they've added a whole new game mode that is basically a roguelite end game mode into this. So instead of it being the TV mode where you're going through and you're picking what paths you want with that, what items you want to pick up from there, they do like a card system where the cards have different attributes that will modify your characters moving forward. They went full roguelike or roguelite, where you go into a portal, you do an encounter, and then at the encounter you get like 1 to 3 portals that you get to choose from, whether it's a combat encounter, whether it's a puzzle encounter, whether it's a random encounter where you go in bizarre merchant there that's trying to sell you like these drugs that's going to make you weaker for 2 fights, but then after that you get super buffed. So there's a lot of give and take going on, and I really am enjoying how they are taking community feedback, taking aspects of the game that people might not have meshed with real well immediately, and while they're not removing them, because you can still do the analog mode in that game mode if you want to, they are giving a more concise default to what Zenless Zone Zero is kind of about. I guess it's more on brand with what Zenless Zone Zero is.
I want to play this so bad, but just playing Honkai right now, one gacha at a time, bro. Like I love the art style and everything about this game, and I want to play it so bad. But I feel like if I do, my wallet won't like me. So I'm gonna avoid it at all costs. I'm gonna.
So I've been full free to play on Zenless, and I've gotten every character that I've wanted. I've skipped probably 3 characters, but that was by choice. If you're wanting to get every single character as they come out, then you might have to put in the old credit card cheat code. But the way I've been playing through the game, I haven't had to put any money in. I've gotten everybody I've wanted. They're pretty good with the currency payouts. They're pretty good with the spin payouts. Each patch comes out with a lot of content that allows you to kind of work that up. And if you're full addicted to Honkai, which Honkai is an amazing game, Zenless Zone Zero, I honestly feel like Hoyoverse is still marketing it as like a secondary gacha, like the side gacha, because the dailies literally take like 45 seconds to a minute to complete. You go hit 3 places that are all in the same area, you collect your resources, and then you don't have to play it anymore if you don't got time for it. It's more based around like weekly stuff. So if you can find time within a week to get like all of the like the harder farm stuff done, it's a lot more manageable than what I remember from Genshin, what I remember from Honkai, what I've played with Dislight, being a few of the gachas that I've played. This is the most relaxed as far as like them trying to time creep you.
Nice. Well, again, Zone Zero, it's been out for a little while. It is from obviously Hoyoverse, free to play. It's playable on everything, right? As far as it's playable on mobile and PC. I don't think it's on Switch or anything like that.
It is on console, it's on PC, and it's on mobile.
Okay, awesome.
Nice.
Well, there you go. Well, that is ZZZ or Zenless Zone Zero. But allow YouTube ads. I don't have an ad blocker. Thanks, YouTube.
Thanks, YouTube.
Okay.
About to go the way of Twitch with 45 fucking seconds intro ads,
right? Like I'm trying to go to the next thing, and it's like, hey, you have an ad block. I'm like, no, I don't. Like, I legitimately don't. So well, anyway, we're gonna now move on to Scruffy, playing PoE 2. And actually, it's not just Scruffy. Like Scruffy's playing it. Bill is playing it. Enigma is playing it, and I have put time into it. It's definitely not necessarily my huge cup of tea, but I am also playing. So PoE 2, it has taken the world by storm.
Dude, yeah, the Diablo killer, as some call it.
Very well deserved at this point.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, PoE 2 dropped this past December, the beginning 6th. Yeah, and it's pretty great, man. Which I should say dropped. It did go early access, so it's not fully out.
What pay in early access
was it's a pay in early access. You get acts 1 through 3. I believe the scope is 6 in total.
Yep, 6.
And you got about half the roster of playable classes, I believe, as well. Don't quote me on that one though. I can't quite remember.
It's
all
half
the
roster. You get 6 to start, and then 6 they'll be drip feeding throughout the early access.
Right. So that right on. Yeah. But yeah, man, if you guys aren't familiar with, Path of Exile or Diablo, it's an isometric ARPG top down. You're just general kill zone kind of game, going through maps and clearing the acts. But I think honestly, I really like their take on this one comparative to Path of Exile 1. It is a bit slower pace.
A bit.
It's still,
bro. Say your piece, because I got some hot takes.
It's a bit slower pace, but not in my eyes of the jump that Diablo made to Diablo 4. If I'll say that, I think that game went way slower and just way too much. This game definitely slows down a bit, but they still give you options to kind of get around and jump around and whatnot.
Sin wants to go off so bad. He wants to go off.
Is that why it's not your cup of tea?
Finish your fucking take. I'm gonna explode.
I'm liking it, man. I'm liking it. I've only really had time playing my my one class being the mercenary, the merc being kind of like a crossbow archer elementalist type class, and it's really fun. I was playing through my buddy who was playing a necromancer, and yeah, I've only got through acts 1 through. No, I've started 3, but only just started. I haven't gotten through it yet. So extra 1 through 2 have been
You
completed.
said this
so.
is slow pace. Look at all of the shit on the screen.
Yeah, man.
What do
I
you
don't think
mean?
it's like super slow, but compared to 1, it is.
Bro.
One was batshit. You know, I don't know if you played 1, Tony.
I've never played Path of Exile, but
Okay.
going into this after you just said it was slow.
This is
You
slow
lied to
comparative.
me,
yeah.
Scruff. Like I would
No,
go
no,
in
no.
there and get
To
murdered.
be
Like,
fair,
look at
Scruffy is
that.
literally backpedaling through new territory in this jungle and just aggroing
Yeah,
every mob in the
Everything. I
forest.
mean, this is a
Okay,
perfect
fair
example
enough.
of like of what this game brings to the table. You know, it's crazy. But that's my piece, man. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a solid early access kind of preview of the game, and I want to delve in more. And yeah, so what do you got?
Oh,
Man?
go ahead.
I'm also enjoying Path of Exile 2 a lot. I have only played a few of these. This usually isn't my genre of game. I've only
Same.
played Diablo 2, Diablo 4, and now this. So, and this honestly harkens back a lot to Diablo 2, in my opinion. It's got that kind of like more old school ARPG feel with like how deliberate some of the movements are. Especially if you're playing a melee class, which at the current point I don't recommend because they're kind of botched right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll fix them later, but I've been primarily playing through on a witch, and I like how the necromancies and like the chaos dot spells feel on that character. I played a little bit with a mercenary, like what Scruff's playing as well, and that feels really good as far as like having a third person shooter style, like a top down third person shooter, a top down shooter style goes in this kind of thing game.
Yeah.
I think they handled it like really well. It's definitely early access in a lot of ways, and hopefully they fix those. But for what it is, I don't have any regrets buying into it. And it's got couch co-op, so me and the wife have been playing it together, and that's been a really, really good time.
That's nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Get it out, son, get it out.
So
Hmm.
as someone that has put a lot of time into ARPGs, right? And I can say this now because I'm not like if Enigma was here, he would be yelling probably at me for maybe some of my takes on here. This game, like the problem that I have with the game, right? And I'm not taking anything away from Path of Exile as far as like what it is trying to accomplish and what this game is. I think that yes, it's a good game. I don't think that there's necessarily anything wrong with like the game. And it definitely, as you progress higher and higher and higher and get into more mapping, get your characters built out a little bit more, you definitely get more of the fast paced stuff. Where I have a problem with it is that this is, in my opinion, this is not Path of Exile. This is a new game that has the skin of Path of Exile on it. And whenever you have a sequel, right, there are some expectations that come along with it. And though some of the core mechanics and like the build or whatever else is very similar, right? Or the same, right? You have the witch, you have the classes, those all the kind of the things, same as PoE1. There is an expectation when you say ARPG Path of Exile of the pacing. This should not, in my opinion, be called a action RPG. It is a top-down Souls-like. Like that is what this game is. And I know, again, I'm gonna go ahead and embrace Enigma and say like they fucking said it for months and months and months, and they were talking about it. I get it. I'm not arguing that they said that was what, that yes, they advertised it as or they talked about it as a Souls-like, but they also advertised it as an action RPG. And with the name Path of Exile,
that term Souls-like around more and more.
The thing about this is that
it's hard, so it's a Souls-like.
It's not. It's not that it's hard. I don't care that it's hard.
Dodge roll bosses. Oh god, it's a Souls-like.
I don't care that it's hard, but the pacing, like you're seeing it right here in Diablo 4, in Diablo's and Path of Exile. What you're seeing here is not what it would be. Like you would be done with these, cleared, and gone to the next not area, but you'd be moving around, having to sit down and actually it takes a couple minutes. It's taken him at least probably 30 to 45 to maybe 50 seconds to kill this mob, right? That the pacing of it is what it was a shock when I went into it, and I was like, hey, Diablo style, Path of Exile, ARPG. I went in, I immediately was almost like, I'm gonna refund this game because that is not what I get.
To be fair, that is, I think, an issue with Act 1 of this game.
Yeah, that could
Um,
just be
and
scruffy. You know? It's
until
just
you're
I
able
was gonna
to
say it very well
until
could
you're
be
able to
user
build
error,
out your
too.
character, yes, mobs do have a bit of heft to them.
Yeah.
As of right now, where I'm at in the game, like from Act 2 forward, I was clearing out mobs in a very Diablo 4 style passion. Like it was taking
I
like
agree.
maybe like 3 to 5 seconds per ad, and I was clearing out a pack in maybe 10-15 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
once,
mean,
once I got some new abilities, I was like definitely shredding mobs a lot
I've-
faster than I was here.
I've gotten
Bosses,
farther.
I'll give it to you.
Wait a
Bosses, I do feel have more of that
Oh, dude.
Souls-like feel to them, just because
Especially-
they're tanky and their move sets are
Dude.
extremely varied.
Did you fight
like,
the
they're
Act 1 final
huge.
boss?
Yeah, I'm up to Act 3 with you as well.
Was
so.
that
Okay,
the
yeah.
leveling up system that I saw with all
Yeah,
those little
there's
dots?
a very
That's-
in depth.
That's
There's
a very
yeah.
that's
So
a POE thing.
there's
right there,
a
Tony.
like what PoE gives and what PoE does well, right? And I do have some other points that I want to go back to, but what PoE does do well is the ability to build out your character in ways that other games don't. Like you do have a creative freedom, you know, with how you build. There was the sphere system, or not sphere system, I forgot what they call it. The node system. It's whatever. But like you open up your character sheet, and it's just like you can go in any direction you fucking want, and you can just take. I mean, you can really build your character out in a lot of ways. Which again, I love that. Like I think that is very, very good. I am in Act 3, I believe, as well. I'd have to go and look. And I tried multiple different classes. I tried the monk. I tried, you know, and again, I'm not talking about in game.
You didn't just do exclusively melee classes, did you?
No. I did monk.
Okay,
I ended up landing actually on ranger. Because
Ranger's great.
Yeah,
That's
I mean
what the
that
wife's
was
playing right
you know,
now.
that was faster. It was more my play style, stuff like that. So there are some other the other issues that I have, and then I'll kind of leave it, you know, to talk a little bit because they did just drop an update that's coming out that's I think pretty big. But one of my other huge complaints with this, and I'm not taking into consideration like at all the early access like issues that normal things have, like lag, you know, networking stuff or whatever.
Warrior
else.
being unplayable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like those things, whatever. my gripe with this, right, specifically, is something that is known. And again, I can say this, and I will go ahead and repeat Enigma or put in Enigma, channel Enigma, because he would just be like, "Oh, 6 pages isn't enough." It's more than 6 pages. There are a known issue that has plagued PoE 1 and is still plaguing PoE 2, where it will like it stutters. They have network issues. You know, it for some people it's unplayable. And the way to fix it in a lot of cases is you have to die. You character die, you kill, and then it
I
will.
haven't experienced
It'll be
that.
fine.
I'm
Yeah,
not
some
saying that
people
isn't a
don't.
thing.
Some people do.
Yeah.
Like
But I have experienced issues with connecting to friends. That I have had, like it will get stuck in loading screens going through, like say their portal or something like that. You know,
it's
So,
way more
yeah.
than just 6 pages and whatever else. Like it is a known thing that they have a problem with their fucking network code. And it's been a problem since PoE 1. And this is where my gripe comes in. I'm like, guys, if you're going to launch if you're going to launch a fucking sequel, if you're going to charge people to play in the early access or whatever, like for fuck's sake, man, get that shit right. Like go back in your code and fix it, right? And it's still not fixed in PoE 1. It will probably never get fixed in PoE 2. That is frustrating. Like as a person that is experiencing those issues, as a person that is having those problems, I'm not alone in this. This is not just a me problem. That's very frustrating. And it's frustrating to see that this has gone on for years and years and years and it not be taken care of.
Fair enough.
You know, so
Yep.
But
Before we move on, I want to address the PoE 1 to PoE 2 thing that you mentioned earlier. I understand where you're coming from, and I understand the expectation. It kind of, since we're already bringing up Souls games, it kind of brings up a Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 2 comparison, where I feel Dark Souls 2 gets hated on a lot because it didn't meet the expectations like of what a Dark Souls game was that were set in Dark Souls 1. That being said, with a live service game like this and a live service game like PoE 1, haven't they said that they plan on continuing to update both of these games in tandem, that one's not supposed to replace the other, but they're supposed to work like beside of each other for players that like if you prefer PoE1, keep playing PoE1. If you prefer PoE2, keep playing PoE2, and like giving basically another option in the ARPG space with this title.
Yes, they have, and I'm interested to see how long they're going to continue to do that for, because I can't imagine, and maybe they will. Maybe Grinding Gears.
It's not like a Smite 1 to Smite 2 where they're
no, it's not. No, they're
it.
just no. I mean, eventually, I think they will sunset PoE 1. I just don't see it being financially fiscal. I mean, unless they're just making a fuck ton of money, then maybe they will. But for right now,
I think they're making a fuck ton of money.
Oh yes, I mean, they
especially considering the like monetizations and like the microtransactions are like shared between the two games.
They do cross over. They're not all implemented, and I don't cross over right away. But
they added a ton of them with this most recent patch that's coming up.
I imagine, yeah, they do add it in like waves. So I've noticed.
I think that, but I mean, here's the thing: is I don't know how long that will continue for them adding crossover, buys, because again, they are losing out on money. But maybe Grinding Gears games will set a new precedent for how to properly do it, and I hope that they do, where they don't fuck over their fan base. But I just, from a investor standpoint, money making standpoint, it is hard to see them continue to just be like, oh yeah, you can buy it for one and it's going to work for both. I
mean, and I'm sure at some point too, they'll have exclusives for like PoE2 and certain, like, because they have like customization for every single detail of like classes in PoE1, and you have a whole set of new classes in PoE2. They'll have new customization for that now. So that stuff won't transfer, or
I mean, maybe they will, but again, PoE it's taken the world by storm. It has also caused the downfall of Elon Musk in his gaming career. Apparently, if you want to be good at this game, just pay someone on TikTok or Red Note, I mean China, wherever. You buy people.
Wow.
You pay people to be the American way. The American way.
Oh man.
To pay for people to level your account for you. But I don't know.
Don't you have a blue check mark on Twitter?
I do have a blue check mark on Twitter.
You should check where that stands.
Yeah, so maybe do I get a free person to play my PoE account for me? That would be nice. So I don't know. I mean, again, it's taking the world by storm. I think it's still doing like, hundreds of thousands of users. It's making Diablo fucking and Blizzard hurt. It is a good game. Like, I'm not gonna take anything away from it. It is a very good game. If you can get to the end game, it's a fucking phenomenal end game. For $40, you get your money's worth.
30.
Is it 30? Okay, 30.
30. Yeah. And technically you're not paying anything like on top of what you like. They give you $30 worth of microtransaction currency with the early access. So you're technically just buying currency and getting the game. So
yeah. And then it'll eventually become free to play once it full drops. So
yep.
But I imagine full drop will probably be 2026. Like, I don't see it dropping this year.
I imagine too. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that is PoE2. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about? I know they dropped a new update. I don't know if you guys wanted to touch base on that.
Oh, their trials are pretty cool. They're unique. I wanted to definitely hit on that and see what your thoughts were on those, because those are a lot like also a
talking about like
system.
The Ascendancy trials.
Yeah. It's got like the roguelite pathing and everything, which I thought was pretty cool. I've only done a few, so I don't know if they get monotonous or in any way.
Have you done the second one, the Trials of Chaos?
I believe so.
Okay.
I
prefer that one over the original trial. The first trial is where you're like going through rooms, and like if you get hit, it brings down a meter. If you get hit so much, you lose the trial.
Annoying, the whole hit thing. Yeah.
The Chaos trials, you have to pick debuffs as you go through. Like, you have to pick downsides that stack on top of each other while you're heading towards the boss. So that one's a lot more fun in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah. But I like the way that it's at least set up. I think it's pretty neat.
And as far as the new patch comes out, they're fixing a lot of stuff. Hopefully, they're actually going to make the warrior playable, because they're fixing how armor works and how hit percent works. So that'll be nice. They're also alluding to the first league coming up, like the first early access league coming out here soon, which I don't know if leagues mean hard resets or if it's one of those things where they're gonna have like a character move to like a standard pool and then you have your league character.
It's gonna be interesting how they handle leagues, especially with the way that the PoE is always on and being in early access. Like, because leagues have always been a thing that like they tack on, and And I will say this about Path of Exile. And I'm assuming that Path of Exile 2 will probably be the same thing. If you are, depending on how they handle this league stuff, if you are wanting to get into Path of Exile, it is in my opinion, it is better to get in now and get in as they're building these leagues out, because there are mechanics that are in there that don't ever go away. Now they're not mandatory. Like, you don't have to engage necessarily, I think, with a lot of the league content as they move through other leagues, but it is things that you will encounter that it can be cumbersome. And that's where the learning curve for PoE started to spike, was because it added, I mean, they had fucking 40 fucking leagues, you know, and it's just like, it became a lot. So I do recommend, if you are interested, if you do like action RPGs, you might want to start getting into it, you know, sooner than later. You know, depending on how they handle the league is on there. So
Definitely. It's a good time to, I mean, get in at the start.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, that is Path of Exile 2. All right. Well, we said that Blizzard got smashed on December 6th because of PoE 2. Well, they also got smashed for another reason. It was just not. December 6th will go down as a day in infamy for Blizzard, because they also got hit with the launch of Marvel Rivals. Yeah, and I think I know I'm playing it. I know, Tony, you're playing it. Enigma's playing it. A lot of my friends are playing it. Pika's playing it. A lot of community members are playing it. Bill, I don't know. Have you played it?
I've played a little bit of it. I don't have the time to get good at that shit, and it's already gotten so sweaty that I'm not having fun with it. But that's just me. I'm not a hero shooter guy.
And Scruffy, we're gonna have some conversations back and forth. I thought he would be, but he's obviously dumb and doesn't want to play it. So this Marvel Rivals, if you live under a rock, it is a hero-based 6v6 shooter, third person, completely free by NetEase, and it's essentially Overwatch put in Marvel, right? And make it third person. And so it has just completely been dominating everything. I mean, they are holding 500,000 concurrent players daily. This is now a month and a half after launch. They have already they launched with 33 characters. They've already launched 2 more characters in a brand new season. They literally looked at what Overwatch was doing wrong and said, fuck it, we're going to do everything right. We're going to do all of this stuff right. And we're going to give you guys what you want. And oh my God, like, this game has sucked my soul away. And my wallet, I've spent an exorbitant amount of money on a free game that I will not disclose in case my wife is watching. But
smart man.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I mean, this is a game that is, you've got a tank class, you have a DPS class, you have a healer class. It's not without its faults, don't get me wrong, but when you're talking about a game that is launching, that is free to play, this is rare. This is something that you do not see happen a lot, where there are, it comes out in a very, very, very playable state. They listen to feedback, and a lot of these games you would immediately be like, they're trying to take your money, steal, do whatever they can to get a quick buck.
Somebody had a moment.
Everything in this game is free. Everything, if you buy a battle pass, you keep it forever. You can go back and re-level that battle pass. For $10, you get 10 skins in the new battle pass. You're also getting currency back. Is like up to, I think, 900 points in currency when it's all said and done. I mean, I can't gush about this game enough. I mean, obviously I'm a Marvel fucking nut. But this game just hits on every fucking gaming level if you are a competitive person and like competitive shooters.
We've been saying it forever. The only thing that we need for a Marvel game to succeed is a large character roster of Marvel characters and a team that's willing to continue to pump out those characters. And you've got the makings of a perfect games as a service Marvel game.
Already
we finally got it.
Out another character or 2 every month and a half.
So they're launching 2 characters every month and a half is their goal for that. So how if they keep up with it, great. I think that'll slow down. I think that'll probably
should slow down.
come to bite. I actually disagree. I think they fucking keep that pacing. You have a roster that is massive. Keep dumping them, right? Just keep. I mean, it keeps the game fresh. It keeps the game people wanting to come back. Their skins are like they're on point with their skins. And the thing that's crazy about this is, and I can't believe I'm saying this about a company like NetEase. If you were to talk to us about NetEase 8 months ago, 9 months ago, we would have told you steer clear of anything that NetEase does and don't ever go anywhere close to them. This is completely opposite. Like when you look at the way that they develop these characters, the time that they put into their outfits, their abilities, their ults, all of that kind of stuff, it all is very much of a love note to comic book fans. There's some questionable stuff of being like, why is Mr. Fantastic not a fucking tank? And why is he a DPS character? Why did they make Loki a healer? Like
there are some definite rule choices that I think are a bit sus, but I understand them needing to flesh out rules as well.
But I mean, when you're, it's just, I could spend the entire show talking about this game. I don't know, but you guys have thoughts. I know Scruffy, you have an opinion about it. I want to get to Tony and to Bill, your guys' thoughts on it. Don't all jump at once.
No, as you said,
go for it.
I was waiting for Scruffy.
No,
you guys.
Scruffy's gonna go last.
I don't have much of an opinion outside of it's too sweat for me. I liked Overwatch a lot whenever I first played it. This definitely gives me like Overwatch vibes, but the meta and the like skill level progressed so much quicker in this game than I feel like Overwatch did whenever it first came out, and I just do not have the time to keep up with it.
It's not your fault, Bills. The thing is, and this is something I've been talking about for the past 3 years. Influencers kind of have ruined gaming in their own way, just because if we want to get down to brass tacks, like when the game first dropped, like, and that's why I try to explain to people all the time. When you first start playing a game, it's all fun. It's everybody's having fun, everybody's learning. But as the game progresses, if you give yourself a week, just a week of this game just being out, and then the competitive scene hit, everybody is either picking the sweatiest characters to use. Everybody wants to be number one, and then influencers have just, hey, don't pick that character. You need to use this. This is a better healer. This is a better attacker. This is how you get a combo in one shot and stuff like that. Like, I understand from a standpoint of somebody being brand new and running and trying to play this. Like, my wife jumped in and she was just like, oh, I want to try it. And I was like, I don't think you're gonna have an enjoyable experience. Like you're very not to say scare anybody away from playing this game. It is great. It is a great game. But if you're a casual player, even in quick play, you have to deal with some questionable people just playing. And I agree. Like there is an in-game chat censorship that, people, I get why they did that, to keep, it from being like a league setting where people are just toxic. But
it doesn't matter.
The game, it's not that bad. The game is enjoyable. There's a plethora of characters. In my opinion, I feel like I've enjoyed this game more than I've ever enjoyed Overwatch. Overwatch is a great game, but this is it's the bee's knees at this point. Like I enjoy all of the characters, all of the different abilities, stuff like that. The only issue I have sometimes with this game is, of course, there will be crashes. People leaving matches. Now, that bothers me only because it takes so long sometimes to get someone else back into a match, or for that person to either come back if the game crashed on them.
Are you playing on PC or are you playing on console?
I'm playing on PC.
And you're seeing people leave?
There has been matches. Again, I'm not in your rank. I'm getting close now. But when I started in silver, people were leaving. Silver and bronze is like just
Elo hell.
Crazy for competitive, because either people are not listening or they're just leaving the matches, and that has happened to me on.
Yeah, that's wild. That it definitely must be something that is in that lower bracket.
It's in the lower bracket. Yeah.
I hate to say lower bracket, but like
no, it's fine because I haven't experienced this since I got the goal. Since I got the goal, I haven't experienced people leaving the matches anymore.
Yeah, because we don't.
But in silver,
I have not.
I mean, that's a common thing in a lot of competitive games with ranking. Is like you get stuck in those elo hells, and it's just like either people not trying or people leaving, and it's a lot of
Yeah, it's
competitive
one of
games do
those.
that.
One thing
Yeah.
I appreciate about them though, is that they're not making a role category, at least yet, to lock people into roles, which
Go
I
ahead,
can
Scrub.
appreciate. Yeah.
That's a good segue for you, buddy.
Yeah, or well, I was gonna get into it, but if you'd like, I'll give my thoughts here. So I want to preface. I think the game is great. I do. Most of everything that I have wrong with it is personal nitpicks or hot takes in my own opinion. And I just it comes down to mostly it aggravates me. And when it doesn't aggravate me, it's almost leaning on the side I'm kind of bored playing it. And there's two reasons why. Mostly because of the metas, and I know right now maybe there's not the meta, but there was going on for a while the whole 3 tank 3 healer kind of meta that people were running and just kind of cheesing comps. And metas change all the time. That's a thing in games everywhere, you know. But in this game particularly, I feel like metas are very easily exploited, and it might only be a case in lower mid ranks, because a lot of times they are, and you can get past them in higher ranks. But I still think it's a problem.
From what I gathered, that meta, that was a problem, and I think Wolverine being added to the game solved that problem, because that is like his role is
Right.
Is tank shred. So
and that'll happen, you know, and things always change. That's why metas change. They add things and nerf things and buff things. But again, that also introduces, with the huge ever going roster that they have going on, more metas will form, more will come, and more will go. It's just the nature of it, you know. Well, that's fine and dandy. If you like playing like that, you enjoy that kind of style, that is great. Just personally for me, I don't like following that. I find that very boring. And you know, it isn't really my play style. But I think what can fix that is, like Tony was saying, a queue system, or a role queue. You know, having the 2 tanks, 2 healers, and 2 DPS. I know that's a hot take. I feel like I've only heard a lot of people say that, you know, this game doesn't need it. This game shouldn't have it because, you know, that's what made Overwatch die. I don't think that's what made Overwatch die, to be honest. Honestly, I think it really helps Overwatch. But where Overwatch lacked is the roster of heroes they had in that game. I don't think they had enough heroes to sustain a 2-2-2. This game, I think, will only thrive because it does have so many heroes and so many different team comps that you can pull off having a role queue.
Yep.
And then it also negates having those kind of cheesy, dive metas, shred metas, tank healer metas, whatever you want to, any kind of meta there is. I think.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I would like to hear it. I want to hear what you're saying.
I mean, we talked a little bit about on my stream last night about this,
Yeah.
but the problem that I have with that is that it's counterintuitive to kind of what you're saying, because metas in this are constantly evolving. Like because there are so many heroes, because there's not a role queue. You know, if it's like, hey, all of a sudden they switch, they now, you know, they may start off with 1 tank, 4 DPS, 2 heals, right? Or no, sorry, 3 DPS, 2 heals, right? To have the 6. And then halfway through, they're like, fuck, we need to go 3 tanks, 3 DPS, or 3 heals. And so then at that point, it's your chess master going, okay, cool, I need to now swap to this. Whereas if you put in a role queue, what you're doing there is saying, okay, I know that they're going to have 2 tanks. And if they go Venom and they go Hulk, then I'm going to go Wolverine, right? I know the counter to this particular one character. So I'm just going to counter that one character. Whereas if you go and say, hey, we're not doing a queue. I've seen comps that have been 4 DPS, 2 heals, and it fucking wrecks shit. Right? Like it's just, it destroys everything. And so you now have to adapt to how do you stop that from happening. And so I think by adding a role queue, all you're doing is limiting your meta. Like I've never seen, look at like what we just talked about with PoE. Like the amazing thing about PoE is that you're able to choose how you want to build your character. Diablo went down a very different path with that and was like, yeah, you kind of have it, but like not really. The Paragon system is a little bit more of it, but not much. Like, what benefit do you get from having choices taken away from you?
I agree. When you voice it like that, that makes sense because of all of the matches I've played. If you swap out hot swap characters out, especially if you getting fucking railroaded and you change out and hot swap, there are moments when you can change a game just changing your characters and having like you said 4 DPS or 2 heals. And I've seen just things happen like randomly just changing characters mid game instead of being stuck to a certain role. So I agree exactly with what you're saying. There's multiple types of metas. Well, the only thing that I don't agree with is the fact of when you have too many characters coming into the fold, I feel like eventually for people, anybody new that wants to jump in and play this, there's a huge learning curve. And the only reason I say that is there's just so much to digest. Oh, this character does this, or this character does that. This character has this ability. Like I've had other friends that want to play this, and they'll look at it and they're like, man, I don't know what's going on.
I mean,
like, you get what I'm saying?
That's the same problem that like League has, right? Like League has got, you know, fuck all 100 and almost 200 plus, you know, whatever, you know, champions. So right. I can definitely, I definitely get it. And I understand that. Where I think that they do a good job here of somewhat fixing it is they're not nerfing like massive, like they're not doing what Riot does, right? Or what Blizzard did with Overwatch, which is just like, we're going to nerf, you know, these are overplayed, we're nerfing them to the fucking ground, right? They're kind of going with this idea of like, hey, we're buffing the fuck out of everybody. Like everybody's just going to be fucking good. Like there's not even people will see this, me playing Rocket and be like, fucking Rocket is not top tier. I can tell you right now, you can go and look at Eternity and you know, One Above All and see some of the Rocket players and Rocket comps, and it's insane. Like it's just insane.
He's really good.
Yeah, you know, so I think that everybody does a good job, and they're addressing things of like, hey, you know what? Storm was not being played a lot during season 0. We're gonna buff Storm, not massively, but we're gonna buff her enough, and now she's getting played. Right. And so, but they didn't go in and be like, hey, the way that we're gonna get her to get played is we're gonna nerf everybody else. And so now they're on the equal playing field. They're just like, no, we're just going to buff her. Right. And we've said, I know Bill, I have watched Bill's beautiful mustachioed bearded mouth say the words of like, I don't want to, like, don't make me feel bad. Power me up, right? Make me feel bigger and better. And I think that's I think it's good. Like I think that's a good way.
One thing I really do appreciate about this game is the seasonal bonuses. That gets people to play different characters. Because at the end of the day, if there's a seasonal bonus, let's say for instance, Magic right now has a 15% damage boost for a seasonal bonus. I love that because next season she may not have that bonus. So right now, if I'm a Magic player, like you're gonna enjoy playing with her because at the end of the day you get that seasonal bonus. I can't speak highly enough about that system. Like a seasonal bonus, being paired with other characters for team up comps. It's just really good. So it doesn't force people to play with other characters, but it does get them to be like, hey, well, you know what? She's getting a bonus of 150 health, or he's getting a bonus of damage this season. I'm gonna use this character. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I do want to roll back just real fast because I do have one more thing to say. So to go off of what you were saying, Sin, with you know, you're kind of gripe on adding the role queue. I see your worry and everything that you know think about it, but that the role queue was a problem in Overwatch was because of Overwatch's small roster. I think in this game, having that role queue, what it's going to do eventually if you don't have that role queue is become oversaturated with insane amount of, you know, players and what do you call them, heroes in this game, and you can still have metas with that role queue. Because you'll have characters such as they introduced Mr. Fantastic. He is essentially an off tank, you know? So you can almost still have a 3 tank, 1 DPS, and 2 healer meta if you want, you know? But one of your DPS is going to be an off tank, you know?
Yeah, but you're forcing the developers to then develop characters that are off tanks versus letting them just develop what they want, and then the player
they could
filling
still
in
develop
that
what they
need.
want. I mean, I'm not. They don't have to develop, different, style characters for that need. They just eventually, I believe, will, just because of how their scope of how many characters they're going to add to this game.
Right, but why not let the community decide how to play them? Like, give them the tools and let them build out what they want to
100%
build. If they want to build a fucking
believe
square
they
boat
still will.
with no sails, sure, fucking build it. Who gives a
100%,
shit?
I believe they still will, because right now most teams still do play in the 2-2-2. It's just a standard. And having that's kind of like roster of characters, I think if anything it adds more strategy to the game, because you're not going to introduce just total comps that are just going to shred teams and offer no counter. I think that you're going to add more strategy, being like, all right, guys, what do we need to go against their group of tanks to ours? Because they do have tanks in this game that are dive tanks that do just insane amount of damage, and they're almost essentially a beefy DPS, and then they already have a lot of those characters.
For the sake of time and stuff like that, I mean, we can go round and round. I think we'll have this conversation, I'm sure, as more seasons kind of come out and more characters kind of get introduced, because it is what it is. I mean, the developers have said they are not doing any type of role queue. Maybe they change it, but right now they're not doing a role queue.
I'd like to see a role queue in at least like a competitive mode. I'm not even saying ranked, but maybe like Siege does. They do a quick play, an unranked, and a ranked. I'd like to see something like that.
I also think that you
actually
have the
enjoy
player
the
base
game
to split it up, dude.
I also think that you
Player base is
should jump
massive.
in and play it, and see if you actually, because your fear about having overpowered things that just shred everything doesn't exist. Like, there are counters to everything.
Right. But there still will be with role queue.
Maybe. But anyway, I do want to touch on one thing that they do need to fix drastically, because the game is not perfect, and then we're going to move on to the news. But they do, like, there is an issue, and I don't know why the fuck they can't fix this or figure it out. But like, I want to put it out there, because they're like, the only way that I found out about it was on TikTok. This game does have issues, and they have addressed some of it with it being pay to win, in the sense that if you have a better computer and you have a better PC and you can run this at a higher frame rate, then your characters in season 0, they could do more damage, they could go farther, they could
oh no, the timing on
that's-
projectiles is linked to FPS, isn't it? If
Yes.
it's not a
That's
hit
the meta.
scan,
The
you can
meta
actually
is
get
having a crazy beefy computer.
yes,
That's wild.
So that was
Wait, that's a thing?
it is 100%. If you are playing on, if you are
linked to FPS,
if you are
Wow.
capping, if you're capping your frame rate to anything under 100 and I think 20 frames or something like that, then you are in fact having there are characters that are doing, it's taking you're doing the same amount of damage, but it's taking you longer to do it.
That's crazy. I
so
just saw something. Somebody had like a comparison with like a 540 hertz monitor or something, and
it only goes up to like 120. Once you're past 120, it doesn't matter anymore at that point. Like, it's all the same. There's been numerous tests that have done it
that's wild.
to see it.
I have been crippling myself. I turned it down to 60 on purpose.
Yeah, if you're doing it on 60, you're hurting yourself 100%. They have fixed some of the stuff, like the movement. Like, before, Magic and Doctor Strange would literally go 5 meters less. Like, you would stand at 15 meters, do Magic's dive in combo, and you would not hit the person. But if you have 120 frames, you will hit them.
Frames-based physics is
that's
such
why
a
I
fucking
miss
noob
with
move.
Magic. This
You,
makes
you,
so
would
much
you would think
sense.
this team would know that by now.
You're actually looking at me right now, changing this stuff and looking at it. One, because it also is an issue because they do the same thing that fucking Overwatch does. People may not. I don't know. My chat never says anything about it. I see it because I'm anal retentive and I'm me, but like, there's screen tearing that's happening on like certain walls and stuff like that, because there's just so much shit going on. I'm playing it uncapped frames. Capture cards only work at 100 for this it's 100 frames. If I play at 100 frames, I'm hurting myself by playing the game. So yeah, they need to fix that shit. I don't know what, like, they've worked on some of it. That I don't know why they haven't fixed it, period. But it is still an issue. So just a thing to kind of keep up and understand. So All right. Well, that is Marvel Rivals. I'm sure that we will talk about it more as the times and weeks and months go on and they update it. But yeah, there is another game that we will be talking about, but we're gonna actually wait because it's a game that myself, Enigma, and Scruffy have been playing called Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen, a new MMO that's been out in early access, just kind of came out. We'll talk about that on the next episode. All right, so let's move into the news section. And one of the articles actually talks exactly about Marvel Rivals, which is they are looking at, or not, they're not looking at, they are banning players for using mouse and keyboard on console. This comes to us by PC
Good.
Gamer. Yeah, so I think Bill, so it sounds like you're on board. Tony, during the setup for the show, did you say you don't like this, or you think that this is wrong?
No, it's not that I think it's wrong. It's just that I thought it was kind of weird because we were talking about the aim assist. There's completely no aim assist if you plug a controller into a PC, which I play PC, but I plug my controller in. Don't you say shit, Sam. I plug my controller in to play Marvel Rivals. I actually like it. And everybody constantly was just like, how are you hitting your shots and there's no aim assist? I was just like, it's normal for me. I like playing controller on PC. However,
you still take Flintstone vitamins too, and you sleep with a little.
Listen. I still take the
little
gummies.
blankie?
Hurts my gums.
That-
Anyway,
that makes sense. Let me know whenever you get to adult food.
I got you. I'll have you chew it for me, right? But for real, like I don't see I can see the issue when you have Cronus and players and people who are doing like shit on the side. But
Yeah.
I just didn't really understand. I get it from a point and click aspect. You're going on console and you're basically taking advantage of console players. I get that.
And this
I
game's full
think they should be
crossplay, right?
On anything but ranked. Ranked is only
ranked
is you're not crossplay.
And I
Okay.
appreciate that so much. Thank
Yes,
you,
so do I.
NetEase, for that because
No,
that
that's
is
a great
such
call.
a good thing. It is a great call. Instead of having PC players in lobbies with console players taking advantage of them, like it's bad. So thank you so much for actually putting it in place for competitive, for PC to play with PC and console to play with console. And they are banning people for long periods of time. Guys.
100 years.
This is not. Yeah, this is not. Oh, I'm gonna ban you for 24 hours, ban you for 5 hours. I'm banning you for years.
They also
Granted,
it's the
crazy.
IP bans, by the way. This is not
Oh,
just
wow.
this is IP bans.
So you're done.
So
then.
when they hit you,
Yeah.
if
I
you
mean,
got an
IP
account
bans.
and you done put hundreds of dollars into buying skins, in my eyes, and you're cheating, get fucked. That's
Yeah.
you deserve it. Like
IP
Yeah,
bans
fuck
don't
around
have
and
the
find
strength
out.
they used to, but
They do when they're
I
kernel based. This is a kernel. This is
Okay.
a kernel.
There you
Just
go.
so everybody knows too that and it's
So it's a
squeak,
hardware ban.
it squeaks by. It's an IP ban, but it's kernel based, so that it doesn't matter if you use a VPN or not. Your shit's still banned. So
Is it
Fair enough.
kernel based on console too? Is it just
is.
across the board? Okay,
I don't know
yeah.
about on console because I don't
That's
know
what
what
I was
I don't know what the rules are on that. But on PC, it
no
is a
idea.
kernel, and I will say
Yeah.
it shuts down once you turn the game off. Like it doesn't boot up until you. But it is kernel based, just so
Yeah.
everybody knows.
I'm happy for them getting this going right off the bat because Siege has been fighting this issue and they've just now, like in the last couple of seasons, got the issue fixed with mouse and keyboard on console. So props to them. I think ban might be a bit extreme, especially considering the game's already got native crossplay. I think the route to go for the sake of the player base, because some players just prefer playing mouse and keyboard even if they're on console. I can understand that.
I can understand. that too.
Do the Siege approach and just push them into PC lobbies. Push them into playing with
Yes.
other mouse and keyboard players. You already have the crossplay available. You already have the tech
Fair.
to detect if somebody's using mouse and keyboard on console. Just move them. Easy as that.
The thing though is if you use mouse and keyboard, there could be other programs that could be coming along with the mouse and keyboard. You get what I'm saying?
True.
So
Yeah,
I
it's
get
all
why- I
third
get
party.
Why? Yeah, it's all third party. So I get why, and I also understand it from a simple fact of if you crush the people who are doing the fucked up shit now, then you don't have to worry about your game being littered with cheaters later. Like of course Call of
Siege.
Duty and stuff like that. You know.
Well, I mean,
I'm with you.
cheaters are look these.
And technically, is a hardware cheat. At the end of the day,
so
that's what they label it as, is a
Right.
hardware
I
cheat.
wonder if they also label Kronos as that as well. I don't know about that.
Yeah,
That should
they
be
do because it's
considered
third
a
party.
hardware cheat.
Anything
It
third
is
party.
as well.
The
Okay.
only way that anything like this would ever get passed is if Sony and Xbox came out with a supported mouse and keyboard setup that then could be detected and then pushed properly into lobbies. But anything
I
third party
don't see that
is always
happening,
going to
but
be
yeah.
counted as third party hardware ban.
At least I can give them credit. At least they care about their product and their game.
Yeah.
Unlike other companies that we sit back and we like, yo, how is this allowed? Like
mean, we
we
should
know
on
Call of
multiple
Duty.
games that
Yeah.
allow this shit, and we just like, at least on launch, they're like, hey, zero tolerance. If you get caught cheating, we're putting you out.
Bro, they don't,
Yeah.
they do not fuck around. They don't fuck around with names. They don't fuck around with anything, man. They are so quick in this game to bench. In fact,
Hold on now. Hold on. You said they don't fuck around with names? I've seen a lot of
report them.
questionable
Report them.
names.
No, but I'm saying report them. Like, I'm not saying I haven't
Okay.
seen, bro. Yes, I trust me. I've sat there and gone, how the fuck did you get that allowed? Because there's also, you can't type in anything about like,
Taiwan.
yeah, like you can't, like it's
Yeah.
real, it's real weird. But
Yeah.
they're very, very, very quick. Like they report it.
They
I
are
mean,
quick.
and it is insane how fast they are banning people left and right for it. So, you know, good, because that easy way to kill your game is allow cheaters to fucking cheat and let
Yep.
them do that shit.
Run rampant. Yep.
And so, you know, it is awesome to see that. So, all right, well, moving on to another kind of thing that this got announced at CES. I'm actually really interested in this because Scruffy's been playing PUBG recently.
Surprisingly, yeah.
Yeah. Don't know why, but maybe he, you know, I don't know, he's
Don't know
fell
why
into
either.
this PUBG fucking hole. But we're not talking specifically about PUBG making an announcement, but this comes to us from CES and WCCF Tech. But NVIDIA at CES announced their AI ally fucking software stuff.
And NVIDIA Ace, yeah, it's artificial, like almost mechanics and features in games. So it's pretty much adding more diverse AI features to either already existing like in-game characters or adding bots that utilize this like ally system.
So is this like separate, or is this something that's gonna just be put in for?
It's
just
something that can be
random games?
utilized in games, I guess, if developers want to use it. I don't know if it's definitely not going to be like all games, but one of the main staple like examples here is Krafton. Developers of PUBG are utilizing it. This is like
think there's
their
a
selling point
video.
right now. Yeah, they are making it so that
Okay. All right.
pretty much you can have a AI ally as a teammate with this software, and it's interesting on that aspect because there are other ways that people or developers can use it, such as like you know, say in like a game like Dark Souls, like a boss has different movesets, patterns, and can adapt to a player's like play style to
Please don't put that in.
make it harder.
That doesn't need to happen. No.
Well, this program can make it so that it will learn players' play styles better and try and add in like more added difficulty, pretty much.
I feel like
which
we've
I think
had
that's
this
cool.
before.
And yeah, people are saying I also feel like we've had it before, but I guess this is going on a whole nother level of like adaptive learning. It's
I
just
know
tenfold,
like
pretty much.
Metal Gear 5 Phantom Pain had a system like that. It wasn't like an instant adaptation thing, but it adapted to your play style. Like if you're doing a lot of headshots, enemies would start wearing higher level helmets. If you were doing a lot of tranking, then they would be wearing like mesh thicker armor that you couldn't get a trank dart through, stuff like that. So
I could see this being really good for games like Cyberpunk or Grand Theft Auto. Like with the environment, like the people, the NPCs. I can see something
Sure.
like that being really dope.
Might
But
bring worlds more to life.
yeah, bring
Yeah,
a world
for
more to
sure.
life. The only
Yeah.
problem is if the AI get too smart and they start questioning things, and then you got one of those situations where you get out
They
of hand.
become sentient, and then you
Right.
know they.
Well, I mean, this
Um,
entire CES was all about I mean, they had AI adult toys. There was a person there
see
showing
that,
off a love robot. So we're getting AI to write our papers and do our resumes. We're getting AI to do our work, and to have
and now play our games for
relate.
us too.
Yeah, like at this point, I'm just like, hey, go win me a chicken dinner. You know, I mean,
Yeah. So this is the part where I get a little hesitant with this whole AI feature being added to games with PUBG. I already am not a fan of bots in games, mostly going against them. I think it's just boring having a lobby full of bots, and maybe it won't be to that extent, but just already adding more bots into games. I'm sure there's going to be tons of games that utilize this and add just tons of bots with this, you know?
Tell me this does not bring up Terminator fucking vibes for anybody else. Is anybody else getting like T2 fucking like, hold on one second.
Very much doing that. Very much doing that.
I can see the argument for bots and for this like AI type of bot in particular, just because if it'll fill out lobbies quicker, if the AI is smarter, it won't be as boring, and quicker, like bigger, like easier to fill lobbies will mean queue times go down for these kinds of games. So I think
I don't know.
that's
I still
not
in the back of my head,
necessarily
I'm
a
like,
bad thing.
I want to fight real people and beat their asses. I don't want to fight computers.
I'm gonna
That's
be
fair.
real with you. I'm
That's
looking
how-
at this
that's a me
video,
thing.
and if I'm playing Dark Souls, and this fucking boss knows, hey, he's gonna heal right now.
Yo, hey, Tony, a baby back bitch and plays on controller. Fucking throw it.
They're gonna start
Be
accessing
pissed.
your
You understand?
cams.
If I
Tony,
play against,
it's gonna access your cam and it's gonna eye track where you're looking. So if you look
I'm
towards your heel,
going to
it's gonna counter
upset.
you.
Listen, a lot of people.
you know what I'm talking about.
I know
Just
exactly.
imagine
Elden
you
Ring already had a ton of issues with enemies like
Bro,
move predicting or like
The
move.
move predicting is horrible.
Yeah.
Just imagine for a second you go to fight a boss in Elden Ring. He kicks your ass, and then he knows, hey, he's playing with this sword, this weapon. You know what? I'm gonna change up my attack pattern, and I'm gonna use something different since he can't. He has to get close. I'm
Yeah,
okay.
the boss starts kiting you because you're a melee only build and it knows
Bro,
that now.
nah, I'm okay. I don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, so you talked about a couple different things, Tony and Scruffy, where like looking at using it in like Cyberpunk or Grand Theft Auto or some of these open world games, right? They showed off this too with like Enzo, where they were utilizing it for like creating more realistic simulated cities that would be able to and people and characters in those cities that would be able to interact with that kind of stuff. I think that, or Enzo, not in Enzo, but I think that it has its place. My issue is again, I think in non-competitive games, I understand it because it's also hard enough to like try to, like battle out somebody. But if I'm trying to battle out, somebody in PUBG and it's an AI that is programmed, I mean, realistically, they're perfect, right? Like, I don't care. It's still a computer. It is going to play better than a human at a certain point. And you're just like, hey, go do this, or like it's, I don't know, man. Like that is just
another thing
bots
too.
Are not there yet, but I feel like, and this goes even with Fortnite, the bots in Fortnite don't do very much. But if you incorporate AI into it to the point where they learn from all of their stuff, they're gonna be dangerous, bro. Like you won't.
I mean, there's certain limitations we still have as humans playing games. There was a large issue in Tarkov to me personally when it first dropped. Like scavs would beam you across the map through bushes and trees and stuff that we can't see through. But they're an AI. They don't see that barrier. So I mean, and maybe it'll be smart enough to see that eventually, but I don't know if we're at that point yet.
Then they intermingle with the fucking Tesla bot, and then it's then we're done. Then it's over. It's fucking over. I mean, like.
So it's on both fronts.
I'm curious to see where they go with this.
It'll be an interesting development in games now to see this being implemented. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So now you're gonna have AI playing, cooking your meals, playing your video games, doing your significant other, and you can just, I don't know, sit back and.
Not your significant other. That's great.
Yeah. Well, that way you can sit back and wait for Assassin's Creed to come out because Assassin's Creed Shadows got pushed back. I don't know if anybody here is shocked by this,
No surprise.
but
No surprise
yeah,
there.
they got pushed
Yeah.
back. And then I think Enigma dropped today that there was some news that they also reclassified the main character Sasuke. Is it Sasuke? What's his name?
Yusuke.
Yusuke. Yusuke.
Mm.
Yusuke. That now he's no longer a samurai. He's now just like a fighter
A warrior capable of
A
fighting
warrior
100.
capable of facing
yeah.
1,000 enemies. Like so, the problem with Yusuke, from what I understand, his history is kind of muddled. They don't really have like a good, clear understanding of what they wanted to make him in the game, and then there was just so much infighting about.
I think a
the
lot of
Black
this
Samurai being in there.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much the Black Samurai part as much as it is. I think they got a lot of pushback from like Japan itself, and they're trying to retroactively fix that kind of stuff because they did take non-historically accurate references for Yusuke
Very true.
and put
They
them into
did.
the game. And Japan was like,
We're getting-
not how this actually went down, guys.
We're getting word from our outside sources. Enigma is saying apparently only that was changed on the Japanese Steam page. If I'm
Okay, so it
understanding
is
that correct,
Japanese pressure. Gotcha.
that's crazy too. If they're just trying to change it on that front and like appease to them, it's like if you're gonna change it across the board.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have high expectations for this game anyway.
I don't think this game's
of course
coming out.
not. Yeah,
I don't think this game
I
is
told
gonna
you
release.
this. Not
I
anymore.
told you it wasn't going to release. I
Yeah.
said this. This is a PP predict. I said it's not coming out. I don't think
In-
so.
Apparently, if it does release, this is like Ubisoft's swan song game. Like this is going to determine the fate of the company.
It's not looking good.
That is
It's not
what
looking
I've
good.
seen in a few different articles.
Yeah,
is that
no, I mean-
internal people at Ubisoft are like, if Assassin's Creed Shadow bombs, man, I don't know if I'm gonna have a job next week. Fuck.
Seriously, I mean,
yeah.
with their stakes and everything, yeah, I don't know, man. It's not looking good.
Well, I mean,
Not
here
looking good
here
at
is the whole thing, because alongside of this, Ubisoft also dropped that they're taking decisive steps to reshape the company and renew focus on gameplay quality. And on top of that, and this comes from game developer .com, then they also said, oh, by the way, we're appointing advisors to oversee strategic options. And this comes from GameIndustry.biz. I mean, like, hey guys, I get I asked for a lot of news. Ubisoft, you didn't have to be the one who does all of it. Like you didn't have to,
Yeah,
but
it just
what this screams to me, right? And for anybody that doesn't know, it has been in the Guillermo family since its existence. Like Ubisoft has been a family-run business. It has been since its inception, all the way up until now. And prior to it being handed over to the brothers, which there's 3 of them, it was doing okay. Like it was, I mean, it was
wow.
doing fine, right? And they were making
wow.
money. And then it got handed over to the 3 brothers, and it's now taken a huge tank. I don't like. I mean, we've talked about it ad nauseum. I mean, there's talks that Tencent is going to buy this. There's talks that Ubisoft may just get split up and they're going to bust out all of the IPs. I mean, do you think we're going to see in 6 months Ubisoft be a thing anymore?
I'll give them to the end of the year. I'm not going to say 6 months. I'll give them to the end of the year though.
This is it's something that, with them investing this much into trying to restructure the company, I think selling is going more and more out the window. I think that's going to be like a very much last resort. And this might be wishful thinking just because I miss Ubisoft Prime back when it was like a good game company.
Yeah.
Sam Fisher, double agent.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll see. Maybe they're learning a little bit the way that Sony kind of learned with the Jimmy Rye era, that turning
But
everything
is-
into a game as a service and pushing out yearly trash isn't going to be the play. So
I
Yeah.
think unfortunately it's just a little too late. It's too little too late at this. I don't see how they can right the ship enough without divesting what they have. And
I don't think-
or
I don't think they have anything in their hand to do so at this point either.
Yeah.
I mean, if you assign let's say you do assign a new CEO, right? Like the amount of, so Ubisoft itself does not have the capital that it needs to basically go quiet and Rainbow Six Siege is not going to hold the ship for long. I mean, it's held it for this long. It can't keep bailing out the water. Like you have too many holes to plug. So you bring in a new CEO, you reshape the company to and refocus on gameplay quality. Like, why the fuck was that not a fucking thing that you should be focusing on in the first place? But what do we? I mean, we're talking about at minimum. You're talking a year. A year. Can Ubisoft go a year without making any profit? Like, at all? I don't know if they can do that. Like, investors.
You're giving them 6 months.
I think they go. I think it actually could be less than 6 months. I think that they're going to have by the financial quarter, by the end of Q2, right? I think that we will see Ubisoft either completely bought by another company, and that's where they're going to get their investment money from, or everything it's closed and the IPs are sold off. I don't know.
I feel like you think they're gonna keep the name?
Keep Ubisoft? No.
Yeah, you think it's gonna go.
No,
Okay.
it'll be gone.
It's gonna be
That name. That name means shit.
That will be hard.
Yeah, right. That name means shit. It completely means shit. There's nothing now that has any weight
It's
or bearing.
tarnished. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is tarnished. Yes.
So I don't know how you.
I know me and Bill, we're both in the same boat. We just hope the best for the outcome of Rainbow Six Siege at this point. That's like.
I mean, Siege will be fine, but I think Siege will be Siege. Like, you will have
Maybe, but if it gets sold to somebody else, who knows? They could totally fuck it up even worse. I don't know.
I think that you would have the developers of Siege honestly give the option to buy it out. And I think that you would have
what if it was sold to Activision?
Oh, fuck.
Just as an example of a bad company it would go to. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I'm just saying that's all I can hope for.
It's just what the best thing that we could hope is that those games would get bought up or brought into a place that actually cares about them. You know, because again, we look at Prince of Persia, right? Like Tony played the original. Yeah, like Prince of Persia
was so good.
A great game.
Well,
like, when was the last time we had a good Rayman game? Like, Rayman's a fucking phenomenal IP, phenomenal platform. We haven't had a good one in years, almost I think a decade. Like, again, Ghost Recon. When was the last time we had a good Ghost Recon game?
Sam Fisher.
Sam Fisher, yeah. Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
You know,
Splinter
like
Cell game.
all of these games, like Ubisoft holds a fuck ton of good IPs, and they're just kind of shat away. So, I don't know. It's sad, but here's hoping. So, all right. Well, we are kind of at time. We're going to go a little bit over just because we did start late, because there are a couple other things that we do want to talk about here. And one of them is kind of interesting, and I'm interested to see kind of your guys' thoughts on this, especially because actually pre-show. Yeah, you guys don't know about it, and people that are listening at home didn't know about this. But Bill actually said he has thought about going back to League, and that is a dangerous conversation, especially to have around me and other people that really.
I'm trying to get anybody who will listen to give me a reason to go back to League, because I'm not going to go back. I won't go back by myself, but
No,
if I have somebody to co-sign the bill with me,
yeah.
we're in there.
Signing the bill.
Well, coming from Rock Paper Shotgun, Bungie and PlayStation are working on a MOBA inspired by Nintendo Smash Brothers. Supposedly, this is claims. It's just wait. Let me make sure the title's not getting cut off there. There we go. That this is just claims, but I mean, we've seen.
So what? It's going to be a side scroller like beat 'em up style MOBA.
I don't know.
No, I don't think it. I think it'll be maybe a MOBA just with the Smash Bros. Characters, IPs. Maybe, or maybe not.
There's no way that Nintendo would let Sony make a game like that not on their console.
So okay, so let's read what according to the game post, who cite anonymous sources, the new Sony studio in question is the one founded last year when Bungie's announced major restructuring. The Gummy Bear project, which is coined, is described as a vibrant, colorful, lo-fi, and cozy. Perhaps needless to say, it's designed for a younger audience. The game post source claims it's been in development for 3 years. Uses a percentage-based damage system where blows knock back characters further and further rather than the traditional health bars, which is very Smash Bros. So I think they're talking about taking elements from like what makes Smash Bros. And like that
But
type
not
of system.
the 2D.
Yeah, I don't.
Sorry. I misunderstood at first. So yeah, no, never mind. I definitely can't see them taking characters from Smash
Yeah,
Bros.
it's
But
a weird
that-
idea.
They, Sony. I just realized the other day they did have a Smash Bros. Competitor.
Oh
back
yeah,
in the
PlayStation
day.
All Stars. That game was fucking legit.
All-Stars, Yeah, so
It was
maybe-
actually really good. It was way
maybe
better.
all they
than-
mean is inspired by is like taking their conglomerate of like IPs and characters and putting them into a MOBA.
I mean, I don't.
You know what?
Maybe
That's a
That
PP
could be.
predict. I think that's the nail on the head right there.
that might be.
I-
it.
Gonna do what?
Because
We're gonna get Astrobot in MOBA.
No,
Well, yeah, no,
I
there may be,
genuinely
yeah.
think that's going to be the case. This is going to be like Sony's version of like Heroes of the Storm or something like that.
Yes, yeah.
So you're
Like,
gonna make a MOBA
that is
with Jack and
exactly what they're
Daxter
fucking
and
doing.
Ratchet
Scruff.
and
Holy
Clank
shit, you're
running
so
around?
smart.
I was happy.
Hey, if not, we're trademarking that shit. TM. I just
Yeah,
want to say
right.
we're getting royalties. If y'all fucking come out with that shit, it's ours.
Yeah.
But no,
Hey.
that makes a ton of sense, and it kind of goes along with other Sony insiders saying that Sony is actively digging out old IPs to put
Right.
into either new games with new IPs or injecting characters from old IPs into new games, a la
Can you
Astrobot.
imagine
So
for a second,
you might
Bill
get your
having
kill zone.
Sly Cooper in a MOBA,
Dude,
like
Sly would
Sly
be
Cooper, like
sick.
just running around in a
I'm
MOBA.
sorry,
That would be
I'm
dope.
maining my boy Sly, dude. I want to get a
Yeah,
tattoo of
so-
Sly Cooper
yeah.
actually
Now,
on my sleeve.
I hope that
that's one
they-
of my goals.
I hope they go with the legit characters and don't make this like some sort of like Astrobot spin-off MOBA where it's like the bot versions of the characters, because
Right.
while that would be
Oh, I get
really
that.
like
Yeah.
that would be like okay for like skins maybe, I
But
think it
not for
would
the
be
actual
way
game.
too muddy to
Nah.
actually pay attention to.
That's
like,
how they're
what's
bringing
going on.
Concord back. All the Concord characters are coming back in the
Oh,
MOBA,
no.
baby.
My
And
God.
it's also weird
no.
that Bungie is the ones in charge of this, because Bungie has no realm in that style of game
Yeah.
at all.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
mean,
But they do no games as a service. That's the whole reason they got hired on. So
here's the whole thing, right? MOBA, when we think MOBA, we automatically go to League, we automatically go to Dota and those style of games. MOBA is
Smite.
it's in Smite. It stands for, multiplayer online battle arena. It doesn't have to be that type of game, right? You could argue that Smash
Mm.
Bros could
I think at this point it
technically be a
does.
MOBA.
I think it does. Yeah.
no, I think at this point we were talking earlier about there's a preconception when you come up with a sequel or anything like that. I think there's a preconception with what a MOBA is, and if it doesn't follow suit with that, it's not going to do
It's
particularly
almost like
well.
what we call MMOs. Like an MMO could be anything, but
Well, true,
when
but
you
they- I
say
mean, they have-
MMO,
that one Valve game's about the farthest thing away from like traditional MOBA that I think you can get while still getting away with the MOBA title.
which one is Deadlock? Yeah.
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 Mhm.
It's,
I think that's as
it's
far away from
teetering.
MOBA as you can get without like being like ostracizing yourself from the actual MOBA players.
Right.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know. I have some feelings about this. I don't know if, like, to me, like, I want PlayStation to do what PlayStation does best. I don't know if this is what PlayStation does best. But I mean, we'll see. I don't know.
I will say if they do come out with a MOBA that's that like what we're explaining, it needs to come to PC. That needs to be one of their PC leaps.
I think it will be just because
It needs to.
I don't know this. Well,
leaks are also saying that they're wanting to make more of their lives, particularly their live service games, PC day one release.
I mean, they have to. But did
They
the
have to.
did the
But this needs to be
Nintendo
one.
Pokemon that is only on the Switch, right? I don't think you can
Yes.
play that on PC.
And that's
that
what
MOBA.
holds it back.
uh,
I mean, I don't know how it's doing.
no,
but
you
I'm just
can't.
saying.
You can't play it on. It's mobile and Switch.
And it would do probably numbers on PC. But
I mean, maybe. I mean, it would do better for sure, but it's
It would do better.
interesting. Yeah, I mean,
I
we'll keep
wouldn't play it.
we'll keep you up to date on this on how what goes on and what this MOBA looks like. So make sure to continue to tune in to the Pre-Patch Podcast for all of that.
Speaking of Sony, just a little side tangent. It's not going to take long. They're also apparently like really pushing hard into movie, TV show, and anime with their video game IPs. I
Motherfucker,
guess
yes,
there's
on
a-
our quick hits.
Oh shit! Fuck! Fuck!
Go ahead now, man. You already.
They're apparently they're turning the Horizon TV show that they were working on with Netflix into a feature-length movie now. I guess they're doing a Ghost of Tsushima like anime with
Oh, that would be cool.
the newly acquired Crunchyroll. So that's kind of cool. So they're really wanting to branch into all forms of media with their game characters, and I think that's kind of cool.
Their Until Dawn movie looks kind of
stupid.
Shit.
It looks
It looks
dumb.
real shit.
yeah.
It looks stupid.
It's not Until Dawn. They just slapped the title on Until Dawn. It's not at all.
Oh yeah, Helldivers 2 movie as well.
Yep, Helldivers 2 is getting a movie.
Yep, it's so pretty much.
And another complete. You know that Secret Levels show that's coming out, right?
Yeah.
It's
out.
already out. Secret Levels out.
Is it already out?
It's out.
Well,
yeah.
Yes.
apparently, and I don't know if it's rumor. I've seen it on a few places. Apparently, they reached out to Xbox for a few of their IPs. They wanted to do a Halo level and a Doom level, and Xbox said, "Nah, we good."
They'll probably do
That's
their own
crazy.
thing.
Oh.
Or
They
want to
might
keep
very
it
well
for
do
to
their
their
own thing,
own
and if they do, that's awesome. But
Yeah.
I just feel like it's like you can have your cake and eat it too. You don't
Like-
need to like say fuck no to a decent opportunity to expand your player base through a show.
One thing I do want to touch on though, and I know we don't cover movies here, but if you have not watched
be
Secret
determined.
Level, you are doing yourself a disservice. If you're a gamer, you need to go and watch Secret Levels.
At the
it
very
by-
least,
is-
watch the Assassin's or the Armored Core show.
Is it
They're
by
excellent.
A24? Because I refuse to.
No, it's by the people who did Love, Death, and Robots, which is an
Yes,
incredible
and it's
episodic
incredible,
series.
Yes, and it's the same thing. It's an episodic series. They have Warhammer in there. There's a couple of good ones in there. You guys have to go watch Secret Levels.
I think the Armored Core one's my favorite out of them, but they're all pretty solid.
Yeah.
they're all pretty good. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, that wraps us up for the news section. We are now going to move into our quick hits. Quick hits are basically just the final little things that we want to talk about or mention. Not necessarily things that we're going to spend an exorbitant amount of time on, but things that we do want to at least bring up.
I think you need to make this transition quicker.
Motherfucker, bro. You know what? Here's the amazing thing about how I've now done this system is, see, I can mute them right here and you never have to hear them. See, they can try to, in fact, I can go like this and now I don't even have to fucking hear them. And so now I'm not going to get interrupted at all. No, so the quick hits, like Bill mentioned, PlayStation launching a bunch of new movie IPs with Horizon and all of that kind of stuff. We also got news that Hideo Kojima has revealed that the ongoing video game actor strike is affecting production on his Xbox game as well as his upcoming action espionage title for Sony. I mean, Hideo Kojima is going to take forever to do whatever. Obviously, the actor strike.
He also likes AAA actors for his his games and stuff. So that's very much going to be in contention with this voice actor strike going on.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
True.
So there's also a rumor that tons of games are going to be coming over to the PlayStation 5 and the Switch 2. Oh, by the way, the Switch 2 got announced. It is coming out on April 25th, 2025. 2005. We're going back in time. They're going to drop
Games
it
from Xbox.
Yeah.
by
But
the way.
anyway, tons of games from Xbox are going over to PlayStation 5, Switch 2. From Xbox, some of those are noted as Gears of War, Hellblade 2, and Age of Mythology, and I'm sure a bunch of others. We already know that Indiana Jones is pretty much coming over to PlayStation 5 as well. So
I might have to play that game too.
it's-
It's actually pretty good.
yeah, I've heard some pretty good things. Unfortunately, it is not stopped. We were hoping that the layoffs were going to quit, but they have not. 2025 started off pretty sadly with Microsoft laying off a bunch of people again across the gaming, security, and sales division. I don't know. I'm hoping that at some point in time we see this stop. Right? This has got. We've got to
they
stop.
haven't given
bleeding people.
numbers, but it's still more layoffs or more layoffs.
Yeah.
Gotta fund that $70 billion acquisition somehow.
Yep. It is very, very sad. We've also had three studios that have been shut down already in 2025: Free Jam, Counterplay Games, and Toadman Interactive. Somebody is writing something. I don't know. anonymous hamster. What are you doing? What are you doing in there? Anonymous hamster.
Nothing.
And then I think this is really cool. Another thing that was announced at CES was that SteamOS is actually coming to other systems. They're going to be dropping on the Lenovo. What are the new Lenovo handhelds? I think it's Lenovo Go. There's a new Asus handheld that's coming out that they're dropping SteamOS onto, and I think this is smart, right? Like SteamOS. SteamOS is fucking great, especially for a handheld. Big picture mode works phenomenal. So I think having this launch there is awesome. So
if they get full PC support, I know a ton of people that would like give Linux a try for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. And then NVIDIA says it is still a very small company. And even though it is literally worth the market cap of $3.33 trillion, small. Guys, we're talking like indie, like maybe like 5.
You think I should invest? While they're young.
You should definitely buy at least $100, 100 stocks, 100 shares for sure. Won't cost you much. But apparently there's no new acquisition plans. No fucking shit. Nobody is gonna buy NVIDIA for more than $3.33 trillion. Like, Jesus Christ. Maybe Elon Musk. Who knows? He likes buying tech companies and fucking blowing them up.
And people, apparently.
Yeah, and people. All right. Well, that wraps up the Pre-Patch Podcast, episode 146. We are back in full effect in 2025, and it is absolutely awesome to be here. Like I said, we are going to be doing the show every other week now, so we'll see you guys in 2 weeks at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Yep, on the 31st, last day of January. We will hopefully have Enigma and the full crew here to talk about games and all of the awesome stuff that we're doing. Again, you can check out all of our contents. Bill, what are you going to be up to over the next 2 weeks?
I'm back on the challenge run grind. I'm doing Dark Souls 2, No Death, No Bonfire right now, and then I've got a bunch more stuff coming down the pipeline for Elden Ring, Dark Souls, all that fun stuff. So I'm back on my bullshit. So
okay, nice. Scruffy, what about you?
So I am back on the streaming game. I was off for a minute, so I am back. Been playing PUBG, as we stated, and a new MMO with Sinan and some others.
Excited to talk about Pantheon.
Same here.
2 weeks. Tony, what about you?
So I am currently taking just a slight break from streaming as much as I was before. But when I do game, I am still playing. I'm still playing Fortnite. I gotta play Fortnite, but I'm still playing Fortnite. I'm really deep into Marvel Rivals right now. It is really taking up a lot of my time. And when it drops next month, February 28th, baby, Monster Hunter.
Hell yeah, I forgot that was coming out
next
soon.
month. Wow.
Yeah, so I'll be playing that day 1. So yeah.
Awesome. Same. I am also very much enjoying Marvel Rivals. You can catch me on my Twitch channel or on the Pre-Patch Podcast channel. But I actually have 2 new games that I'm going to be showcasing off. I know one of which is Enigma is playing. Heroes of Hammerwatch 2 dropped, and been playing that, so we're going to showcase that next week. As well as another game called I think it's Ages of Dawn First Stand. I forgot the name of the game, but anyway, there's a new game. It's like a top-down RTS. We'll talk about it in 2 weeks. I'm gonna be showing that off. But yeah, that's it. That's the show, guys. You've all been amazing. Thank you for hanging out and being here. Thank you for joining us on our live show. If you are listening to us after the fact on your favorite podcasting app, make sure to stop by on the Pre-Patch channel on Twitch or on YouTube. When we do these live, you can engage with our wonderful chat. And be part of that. And if you do have to leave or are not able to catch us, you can get us on any of your podcast apps. You can get us on Spotify. We're officially caught up. Thank you, Scruffy. And make sure you check out all of our short content on, TikTok until the 20th, because who knows what the fuck's going to happen with TikTok after that. But YouTube Shorts, we're on Twitter or X, Instagram, Facebook, apparently. I think that we even have an eBay account, which is really cool. And you can catch us pretty much everywhere else. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Out of here. Bye.
Deuces.
Later,
Peace
guys.
out, everybody.